Hello, Asheville. We're standing here today on Sunday, January 30th, in solidarity with the protesters in Egypt who now are filling Tahrir Square and who just a half an hour ago had army fighter jets fly over them to try and intimidate them to stop what they're doing. But this is the first time in 30 years that they've had the freedom to stand up and protest en masse. And many of the people who started this movement in Egypt hadn't even been born at the time that the dictator Hosni Mubarak took power. And we're here standing today to recognize our solidarity with these people in struggle and to recognize our responsibility as the U.S. government sends $1.3 billion in military aid every year to Egypt, so that the 150 people that have been killed in largely peaceful protests by police and military have been killed with guns that were made in the U.S. and were sold to them by the U.S. And the tear gas that has blinded protesters have been made here in the U.S. And that the fighter jets that flew over Tahrir Square to try to intimidate these brave people were most likely sold to them by the U.S. And that we're calling on President Barack Obama's administration to call on Hosni Mubarak to step down and to call on the government of Egypt to stop repressing protests and to hear the demands of the people and to meet the demands of these people for expression and self-determination. Thank you for joining us. My name is David Rigby. I'm a resident of Asheville, North Carolina. I went to Warren Wilson College. I'm 26 years old, and I feel that it's my responsibility to stand here in solidarity with the people of Egypt as they struggle for self-determination, because our government is so belligerent in our foreign policy, and militarism is such a big part of our culture, and we have so much influence in the world, rightly deserved or not, and such a constricted spectrum of political debate that is becoming increasingly violent and increasingly conservative, and patriotism is being defined as supporting our government and our military, right or wrong, and we're flying drone strikes to assassinate U.S. citizens in the Middle East. And if we don't stand up now, then 10 years from now it'll be too late, and we'll be wondering where were we when we had a voice that we could have used. And I can't let that happen without doing something about it. So thank you for hearing me. One of the reasons that I feel the need to stand up and to be active and to show my support for this movement in Egypt, although I have no good friends of Egyptian descent and I have no direct connection with the Egyptian people in their struggle today, and I've not been politically active with Egyptian interests, is that the people that live in Egypt today didn't wake up in a police state and didn't wake up in a dictatorship. 30 years ago, a state of emergency was declared, and there has been progressive crackdown on political expression and dissent and freedom of the media and freedom of assembly. And these people's futures are constrained. There's vast inequality, and this has happened gradually. And the people have been separated, and I see no reason to think that something like that couldn't happen to anybody, any people in the world. Here in the U.S., we need to support the freedom struggles of people throughout the world so that we remember what struggle looks like, and we stay connected with the idea of freedom so that we can recognize it when we're losing it here. And that a lot of people that I really respect and am inspired by have said over and over that as long as one person is imprisoned, we are not free. And I don't think it can be said any more clearly or concisely than that as long as we stand by and do nothing while an entire people struggle for freedom and are repressed violently by a military and police apparatus that they have no control over, then we're complicit and we are responsible, especially when the guns are coming from our country.
Hey, I'm Josh Sykes from Students for a Democratic Society. I'm here today to stand in solidarity with the people of Egypt. Um, the people around the world are being brutally repressed, and we're seeing it in Egypt and we're seeing it here at home. Not only is Egypt the #2 recipient of U.S. aid, but the U.S. government is also cracking down on people who are standing up in solidarity with people around the world. Right now, 23 anti-war and international solidarity activists in the U.S. are being faced with subpoenas to appear before a grand jury. So the U.S. Doesn't want us to stand up and speak against these things. So we have to demand that the U.S. end aid to Egypt. It's an oppressive regime that the U.S. holds in place merely for geopolitical, strategic purposes. And we have to make it clear that as this brutality from Hosni Mubarak continues, that we're going to stand with the Egyptian people as they stand up for their rights, and we have to make sure that the world knows what's happening there and sees what's happening, and that the Egyptian people have a final victory.
Hello, I'm Tom Craig. I'm a hospice nurse that works and lives in Asheville, North Carolina. And I just wanted to be able to say that I am so inspired by the freedom movements in Tunisia, Egypt, other places that don't get mentioned in the media like Jordan, Sudan. There were similar type riots or whatever you want to call them, peace demonstrations. And I just want to say it's a shame that most people in America don't realize that Mubarak is one of the last, hopefully, in a long chain of American-supported dictators. Go back through the Shah, even Saddam Hussein was one of our supported dictators. Many countries throughout the world, Latin America is full of people that, we've supported, and it's time for them to leave. And as this sign says so well, Mubarak, your plane is waiting off to Saudi Arabia. And that's another country to be next. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Ann Craig. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm a former educator. And I just really hope that what's happening in the Middle East with the democratic uprisings, particularly in Egypt and Tunisia, will inspire the American people to examine what democracy really means and how our country either supports or denies efforts toward democracy in other countries. I also hope it helps for Americans to examine what U.S. policy has been and is currently toward these countries and other countries. Unfortunately, the history of U.S. foreign policy is an imperialistic one, propping up dictators who support particularly the business and also the military, quote, interests of the United States. So it is a lie propagated by this present government and past governments in the United States that we support democracy spreading. What we have supported is the interests of businesses and the military spreading. And I hope that the American people will learn something from this grassroots uprising that's happening in the Middle East.
Greetings, fellow cosmic citizens. This is Deborah Lee, and I'm down here at Vance Monument on this beautiful day. And I'm here because I am appalled that our government continually across this planet supports dictators, murderers. Right now in Cairo, the government there, Mubarak's government, is murdering civilians that are out peacefully demonstrating on the street, trying to say they're tired of decades of abuse and criminal activity in their country. And America has got to stand up. We need to tell our government we can no longer send aid to countries that murder their own people. It has to stop. Blessings.
I'm Claire Hanrahan from Asheville, North Carolina. I want to say that in a country like ours, where so much of our tax dollars is going to Egypt to uphold a criminal regime, a dictatorship, while our own infrastructure is crumbling, our people are being evicted from their homes, people on the streets are hungry, veterans are homeless, families are without the wherewithal to live, it's time to say Mubarak must go, and the people of America need to rise in solidarity. Thank you.
I'm James Lattimore, and I'm president of the local chapter of Veterans for Peace. And I'm here just to show solidarity for the people in Egypt, and I suppose Tunisia too, for their courage in rising up against an oppressive government. And I have a feeling that they have a lot to teach us as well, even though we don't think of ourselves as living in the same kind of political environment as the Egyptians do. But we have an oppressive government led by corporations and special interests that eventually will need to rise up and overcome as well. So I'm here, first of all, just to demonstrate solidarity for the people in Egypt and Tunisia, and indirectly Iran too. I first became an admirer of the Middle Eastern people when the Iranians rose up against their government, and now it's continued sweeping across the Middle East, and I hope it will continue. So that's why I'm here today, just to show my support for their spirit, their courage, and their aspirations.
Hello, Asheville. Here we are to show that as tens of thousands and maybe even hundreds of thousands of people struggle in Tahrir Square in the center of Cairo for their freedom and are strafed by fighter jets, that we've got, 24 people here at Vance Monument in downtown Asheville, showing that global solidarity and struggle is possible. Thank you, we see you, and we support what you're doing.
I'm here to represent the cause of those who have been abused and to say that the violence end now. This being said and done, I'm here to join with these people in representing this cause and other causes. To the people in Egypt, good luck in fulfilling the cause for peace and freedom. This is on behalf of the people of the University of North Carolina at Asheville and the Student Democratic Society. I want the violence to end now. I want there to be an era of peace and good hope for the people of Egypt who have suffered the abuse of their government. I hope it will end soon. Mubarak should accept responsibility for his mistakes. He has gone too far. His so-called subjects should not have to suffer.
He's murdering his own citizens as we speak. Peaceful protesters are being murdered in their streets. Mubarak has got to go. Mubarak has got to go. Hey, hey. Oh, ho. Mubarak has got to go. Hey, hey. Oh, ho. Mubarak has got to go.
Hey, hey.
Oh, ho. Mubarak has got to go.
I want to support President Obama in his request to Mubarak to appreciate civil rights of his people and to listen, and that when you speak freedom, you have to actually give freedom. It means dissent, like what we're doing here right now, is something that is good for democracy and not something to be trampled upon, and not for something to be isolated to certain areas either. Hint, hint, Obama and everybody else who is trying to make protesters stand in line in some little area. No, that is not the way protest goes. And we want Clinton's words also to be listened to by that leadership, supposed leadership that they no longer want. Mubarak, you've been there for 30 years. Why not go out while you're still ahead? You know? I mean, there is a time for everything. You've had your time. It is time to let democracy reign. And we here in Asheville are just a small voice raising arms with all of the world who are watching you right now to see if you do the right thing, and that is to step aside and let there be freedom for your country people.
One earth, one people, one earth, one people, one earth, one people, one earth, one people, one earth, one people.
Whatever hurts some of us hurts us all. Whatever hurts some of us hurts us all.
Whatever hurts some of us hurts us all. An injury to one is an injury to all.
An injury to one is an injury to all.
An injury to one is an injury to all.
An injury to one is an injury to all.
An injury to one is an injury
Come on,
to
join
all.
us, sisters.
We're all
Join us,
Egyptians
brothers.
now. We're all Egyptians now.
We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now.
I just want to invite everybody. This is Sunday. It is the 29th or the 30th? 30th already, almost the last day of January. You still have 11 months on this calendar year to make your mark as a citizen of the United States, to get out of the wars, and to be leaders in democracy across the globe. We have yet to raise up and let people know that we do stand for democracy. And every Tuesday night, come join us at our vigil right here in Pack Place from 4:30 to 5:30. Yay! Come join us at Pack Place for the Veterans for Peace Peace Vigil, also sponsored by many other peace alliances in town. Thank you.
This is the voice and speech of a free American citizen demanding liberty for the Egyptian citizens. Liberation now and forever. Liberation now and forever for all Egyptians. Now and forever.
I'm here with my friend James and all my other friends who stand regularly in this spot to say no to war, to call our country to come to terms with its most deeply held beliefs of democracy that we have abandoned. We've become a corporate-ruled country. We're sending so much money to Egypt that our own people are starving, our own people are homeless, our veterans are in the streets without homes. When are we Americans going to rise up? When have we had enough? What will it take to move us to the streets? What will it take to move us to action, to take some minimal risks of our own comfort and well-being, to say no to this abuse of people? How much will it take you people in Asheville to abandon a little bit of your comfort to stand out and say no to what is going on in this world in your name? Thank you.
Stand up stand up for peace. Asheville, stand up for peace, for God's sake. Bless you.
The FBI's facial recognition software really works. Don't worry, they really have to see your eyes.
Got good sunglasses. To go! Mubarak has got to go! Mubarak has got to go!
Cut that guy's gold
education.
What don't we need money for?
Dictators
And war.
And war. Peace is patriotic.
Peace is patriotic.
Patriotic.
Protest is patriotic. Protest is patriotic.
Protest is patriotic.
Protest is
Patriotic.
Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace.
Stand up for peace. Liberation for the people. Liberation for the people of Egypt. Freedom on the Nile.
oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Let this be the day. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Come on and join us, family. I do believe that we are not afraid today.
This is Jeffrey DeCristofaro. This is Jeffrey DeCristofaro, native of Tennessee, resident of Asheville, and local artist here, and a student at the University of North Carolina at Asheville in the Master Liberal Arts program. And I say, no more of this abuse. Liberation for the people. Revolution for peace. Now and forever. That is my verdict. That is my cause. That is my fight. And I share it all with you. Here in America and over there in Egypt, join the revolution. Join it now.
Hi, I want to ask this one question. Where is the Asheville Citizen Times? Where is WLOS? Where is our local media that has news channels and funding up the yazoo from some major folks who have billions of dollars? Where are those people? And thank goodness to URTV for being here and thinking it worthwhile that democracy and being supportive of all those people suffering right now in Egypt, that URTV, the one channel that does care and give us space to make our statements about democracy. It just saddens me immensely that the local national media, yay, thank you for your support, do not care enough to cover what citizens do, including our weekly vigil. They never come to our weekly vigil either. So I am just saying thank you to URTV, Channel 20 on cable, as well as on the internet for doing this. And thank you, Lisa, for covering this. GLoLady is here today, as she always is, caring about what is happening in Asheville from the Democratic people of Asheville.
We're all Egyptians now.
We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now. We're all Egyptians now.
Mubarak's got to go.
Mubarak has got to go. Mubarak has got to go. Mubarak has got to go.
Hi, I'm GLoLady, and I'm the producer of GLoLady TV, and I will be producing this for URTV. one thing that I have found throughout the years is that national media is owned by corporate. So they're not going to really educate you on what the important matters are for the people. They are more interested in that bottom dollar, the profit of the cause. And I was first educated in this back in '97 when I had participated in a veterans march. And corporate media did not want to cover that until we were arrested. And I feel that it's important today to stand up for the people in Egypt because we could be next with the government and the control of the people and the silencing of words and actions, and we cannot allow that. And in the United States, we have what is called our First Amendment, and that means that we have the right to say whatever we want, and we have the right to assemble peaceably, and we have the right to hold our government accountable, and we have the right to practice whatever religion that we want. So if we do not hold firm and hold our government accountable for these rights, then they will continue as they have been to take away these rights. And we stand behind the people of Egypt and all those around the world who want their own civil rights. So if we don't stand behind them, then we as citizens of the United States are next. So I hope that you will understand what we're trying to say today and that we do come out here in peace. And we hope that the people out there, you know, that's that for peace.
We support WikiLeaks. We support WikiLeaks. We support WikiLeaks. We support WikiLeaks.
Please support
WikiLeaks. Who do we support?
WikiLeaks.
Yay!
We need transparency.
Why is the truth so frightening?
That video is being uploaded to YouTube right now.
Oh, wow.
How fantastic.
Right now?
Hi, my name is Deidre Cobb, and I'm here today in solidarity with the people in Egypt who are trying to oust the dictator who is supported by U.S. government funds and U.S. government munitions, and that those resources are being used against the people, and we still continue to support this government with these funds. And I personally am a conscientious objector. I was in the Army, and I was in military intelligence, and I personally firsthand know the atrocities that we are committing around the world by supporting this type of violence against the populations of various countries. It's happened from the Dominican Republic, it's happening in Israel, Afghanistan, Nicaragua. It's happened all over the world, and it's happening right here in our own country. So I stand in solidarity with the people of Egypt today, and I just say right on to the people, continue to struggle, and I wish you much love and peace very soon. Peace is coming, and we're sending you blessings and prayers.